theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly without an apology. Gotta get doxology to God hollow, because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace, grace and peace. Welcome back to another episode of All Things Theology, where I'm your host, Kdub. And today, I want to talk about 1K Phew and Lecrae. But before we do that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and as always, click the notification bell so you can be aware when I drop future content. But yes, I want to talk about an interview that I recently saw with 1K Phew and Lecrae. And there were some things said that I do think deserve a response, and so I want to take a look at that. So let's get right into it, guys. You know how we do it here. Let's just play this interview.
And I will.
Oh, and for full disclosure, I did chop up some of the content, not to take them out of context, but so that we can get to things quicker. If you would like to watch the full interview, feel free. But let's go ahead.
Like how you mentioned how he had the privilege. I know whenever you started collaborating with, you know, what they would call the secular artists, it was like a big thing with the Christians. And I really want you to give your perspective on what you thought when people were trying to get at your neck for collaborating over into the secular world.
I mean, yeah, I done songs with everybody from Ty Dolla $ign.
And this has been something we've addressed, but I think this interview really shows that Lecrae doesn't actually get the critique that's being responded by collaborating with these artists that I think he would even admit do not align with him missionally, yes. So because he does, last I heard, he does believe his music is missionally minded. And I've addressed this before, but I'll let him finish his thought.
You know, Big Crit, I mean, I don't even, the list go on and on and on, like everybody. So to me, you know, it's like I'm doing what's natural, what's normal for me. You know, it may not be what's normal for you, but like I said, I came from the jungle. Y'all like the garden. Y'all can stay in the garden, that's cool. I'm a bridge from the garden to the jungle. You know what I'm saying? And like he said in his verse, you know, when you bridging the gap, it got trolls on it. So the trolls is gonna come after you because they want things to be the way they want them to be. And I'm like,
and so I think that's kind of funny. You know, if you don't agree with what I'm doing, right? We're just bridging these gaps. Then you're the troll. Well, maybe people have genuine concerns, Lecrae, and I think you've even admitted when you did the interview with Ruslan. Okay, people had genuine concerns, and you kind of granted that, but now you're kind of, well, y'all just the trolls. If you don't, you get on a different platform, and we're just the trolls now. And it's not about us being in the garden and you being in the jungle, and okay, you're just trying to bridge those gaps. We're disagreeing with the methodology, and you'll see here in a second more on that.
Bro, we wouldn't be effective if we stayed doing it your way. Like, y'all do that. We need that. But somebody got to do what we doing. And so I'm like, I took the flack, I took the shrapnel, but now he get to do song. You did a song with
that boy Schoolie, that boy T Hood,
Land Strip Trip. Nobody cared because I took all the bow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and if they do care, oh well, because like we the only Bible some people gonna ever read.
Okay, so you're the only Bible they ever read. Okay, that may be very well true, but do you have to do a song with them for that to be true? That's the concern I have. Do you have to do a song with Paul Wall to go to the jungle, so to speak? Because there are many of us who do that very thing. I know many Christians who share the gospel. It's evangelism, Lecrae. I mean, we the people that go out share the gospel, but they don't collaborate with them in their preaching of the gospel. If you view your gospel, if your music as evangelism, I mean, kind of sounds like you do. Well, why do you have to collaborate with them for that to happen? For them to be that Bible that they read? That's the issue. Because it doesn't seem like what you're saying is necessary. Because I'm all for gospel artists, Christian hip hop artists reaching out and preaching to unbelievers. I don't think anybody has an issue with that. If they do, I think they're wrong, because that's what we're literally called to do. to go out and share the gospel, share that hope with everybody. But does that mean? But does that necessitate? Oh, well, that means I got to do a song with you because I want to be salt and light to you. No, that's not necessary. So I get it. You want to do songs with these artists. You're a fan of them, but just say that I'm just a fan. I'm not doing it for a biblical reason, as you just try to justify it right there.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's facts.
So do
Dang,
you guys?
boy, hold on. You gotta let that breathe a little bit. That's fact right there. Going upward, northern.
Stuck.
Telling you.
Roller coaster.
Oh, so they were asked, where do you see the state of CHH? Sorry, I thought I kept that part in there, but they were asked, what do you see the state of CHH? And it's going up. The stock is trending up. And I see the total opposite, down. I think I heard Lecrae say, well, the roller coaster. Yeah, I mean, that's more accurate, but I see maybe if the roller coaster is like at the top of the Titan and it's just going down, I don't see a lot of up and down. I see a lot of downward trend where we have artists who don't want to talk about Christ, who don't want to be explicit about Jesus, and guess what? A lot of apostasy of CHH that I've also talked about, and I recently talked about. So yeah, I think this is there's a lot of problematic issues in CHH, but let's keep going because there's better stuff I want to get to.
That's the state of gospel rap right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned it before. Gospel rap is bad.
Jack.
To you guys' debut joint project.
Man, no church in a while out right now, man. It says no church in a while, but we been wildin'.
It's not a game.
Uh-huh.
It's not a game, people. If you
I've
sleep,
been on top for a while, gotta let my crowd in.
wake up.
Telling ya.
Hey, wake up. You still sleep. Wake up.
Listen,
Wake
y'all.
up.
It's the title for me. It's the title for me because a lot of us have not been to church in a while.
Dang.
We made it for you.
For sure.
We dedicate this album to you.
And even coming from me personally, like, that's when I really found God for real, was when I didn't go to church for a minute and really had to step out on my own and not really having nobody to tell me or force me or shove religion down my throat. And I really had to find that relationship with God, you feel what I'm saying, for myself. So, yeah, that's how it relate to me personally.
Yeah. Church ain't no building, man. It's not a building, it's a people.
Church.
We the church, you know what I'm
The
saying?
church right now.
Wow. Church isn't a building. We the church. Yes, that statement in itself is true, but I always get red flags when I hear that statement. And then 1K Phew says, we the church. I mean, we having church right now. No, this is not church. What y'all doing is not church. The church is a formal gathering of the body where you have elders and deacons present. Do you have church if you guys are, if two Christians meet, is the church present? Sure, but we wouldn't, biblically we wouldn't say, well, that's church. Church has to do with the gathering of the body in with elders and deacons. And Lecrae should know better. He made an album talking about some of these issues back when he did, explicitly talk about the Bible, and that was pretty much mainly what he wanted to talk about. He had an album discussing some of these issues, and so this was the main statement that caught my attention, where this is church right now. No, this is an interview. This is not church. It's so yeah, just to kind of like, and there's going to be more said about this issue, but just the flippancy when talking about the church. And Lecrae is known for doing stuff like this. Anytime where he gets to diss the former gathering. Nah, that ain't real church. And 1K Phew, I found God outside of those walls, and it's like, oh, well, very well. I wasn't in church when I became a Christian, so I'm not knocking that to be true. But it's almost like kind of shade at people who have, man, they grew up in church and the Lord saved them in that. So yeah,
we just had our we did a little release party, little Soul Food Sundays, and it was like gold grills getting made.
Shout out to Scotty ATL.
You know what I'm saying? Free tattoos.
Can you imagine that being like a sacrament of the church? Yeah, come get your gold grill. Apostle Paul's like, Come get your gold grill. Come get your 116 tat. I mean, oh boy. I mean, that's not church. I'm not even knocking people doing that, but don't confuse that and say that's church. Hebrews 10:25. Do not forsake the gathering of the body. That's not a weekly thing you guys do, a formal, often as you meet kind of thing you do, right? Y'all not getting gold grills and 116 tats every weekend, right? Preaching the word to these people you have a relationship with every weekend, right? No, it's just an event. Like, you should not confuse that with church. And that's the issue I kind of have with this.
116 tattoos, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, us rapping.
Good food, good music, I guess. Not church. Good thing you guys did, I guess, if you guys are saying you fed people, gave them gold grills, I guess, and 116 tattoos. I guess that's good, but it's not church.
Homie Tadashi teaching,
But see that.
and that was like, that's church for folks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That might be church for folks, but that's not church biblically. Who is their elder? Hebrews 13 talks about that. There's an elder that they are under, submitting to their leadership. Come on, Lecrae. I know you know this, but you're condoning that. Okay, some people staying at home drinking orange juice and Skittles is church for them. I mean, does it make it church biblically? Because we get our definition of the church from the Bible, not what may pass in the hood or not what may pass in certain circles. But I mean, because some people staying home reading a verse that was church for me. I got church in for me. But no, biblically the church gathers. Again, Hebrews 10:25. The church, there's a function in the church with elders and deacons. Just read the pastoral epistles. Read texts like Titus, the book of Titus. Read 1st, 2nd Timothy. You read those books, you'll see, oh wow, this seems to be a formal gathering of people that meet on a regular basis. Not just eating chicken and, where there's no fellowship, there's no Christ as the center, as the substance. It's not church, bro. I mean, yeah.
it wasn't about a building. It was like,
And I'm not making it about a building. Notice when I described the church, I talked about the people. I talked about the functionality. I don't care where you meet. Yeah, you can meet on the side of the road, I guess, if that's the consistent place you meet. I mean, you can meet in someone's house, technically, but it still needs to have those functions that are involved in the church, the local church. I made a song about the church, so you guys should check that out.
who's in the building? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard Key Glock say he pray, but he don't go to church. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when we made this project, it was for folks like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you struggling with church people probably, but you still want to be connected to God. And so we just trying to help people tap into that relationship with God,
Lecrae. And I'm cool with you guys making a project for those type of people. I mean, I think that's good and noble. But you give them the wrong solution. You give them the wrong solution because the if someone's having issues with church people, i.e. people in the church, Christians, other sinners that God has saved, the issue is not isolation from the church. The issue is something wrong with me, my heart. I need to get right. Get back right. Ain't that right, Lecrae? I mean, and so, matter of fact, that's actually an evidence of me being saved and my relationship with God, right? If we don't love the brethren, how can we say we love the brethren if we want nothing to do with them? Nah, forget y'all church folks, man. I'm gonna just do my own thing and pray. Like that's what I'm gonna do. Is that an evidence of salvation? Again, Hebrews 10:25. The people of God meet with God locally. We express formal worship and things like that. And so you have a friend who just wants to, they want nothing to do with church, but they want to pray. Well, there's issues with that. And so what I'm not saying is that we shouldn't have a relationship, individual relationship. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But the church is also a corporate entity. made up of individual people. So yes, we have our individual relationship, but it's also corporate as well. So if you never meet with the church, you're not in a functional gathering. And maybe this is speaking to some of my audience, that you need to be in a local assembly. The Bible speaks about that. It is actually dangerous for you to not be in a local church. Guess what? Because I am of the proponent, if you read Hebrews 10:25, that it's warning against apostasy. What is some of the main ways people apostatize? When they get outside of the local fellowship, the daily encouragement, the one another's from the body. You're just all alone, and you expect to maintain a healthy relationship as the bride of Christ. Imagine, and many people have the idea, well, I can be a Christian apart from the local church. And technically that's true, technically. But it's not wise. It's not healthy. Imagine someone saying, I could be in a marriage. I could be married, have a good relationship with my wife, and I don't gotta live with her. I don't gotta meet with her. You'd be like, technically that's true. You can be married, technically. But it's not healthy. It's not wise. It's not safe. And so that's all I'm warning against. And so, yeah.
Over religion. So maybe you'll end up going to a church, maybe you won't, but at least we can, encourage you to really dig deeper into your relationship with God by being honest about it, because we struggle too, you know what I mean? So it's like,
anybody no rollback.
You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
And so that's it there. But would you, Lecrae, encourage them to go to church? Because it sounds like you said, hey, I mean, if you go, you don't go, it's all good. I mean, you can still be solid. I mean, I'll say this. It is in my experience that people who neglect the local church, theologically, they're not in a good place. Even practically, they're not in a good place. Typically, the people who meet, not always, typically, the people who meet with God's people, i.e. the church, have a stronger relationship with God. They're in a better place, typically. So, Lecrae, why wouldn't you encourage or challenge that person? I mean, that's one of the first things I want to see where someone's at. If we get into some kind of dialogue, hey man, what church are you at? Where are you serving at? Where are you functioning at? Because I want to see the very simple step of obeying God's command to go to church, to gather, to submit to someone. Are they willing to do? Because if they're not doing that, I mean, any disagreement we have, they're not going to be feeling obligated to do. If they're not even obeying God's simple command to go to church. And so it's kind of a gauging, a measuring stick, so to speak, to see where this person is that I'm talking to. And so I just wanted to check that out. Someone sent it to me, or I saw it somewhere, and I just wanted to dialogue or have a critique about it. All the interview wasn't bad. A lot of it was good, but there were some things that I'm like, man, I remember Lecrae talking about the church on past albums and talking about the beauty of the church. And now it's like almost every time you hear him speak about the church, it's kind of like, well, those people, like it almost like there's no connection with them from his perspective. I hope that's not the case. I hope he is in a church meeting regularly, and so you guys know how we do it here. Till the next time, grace and peace.